Hey guys, really quick before we get into the CTS-V content, quick merch plug. I'm doing a sale on my Sullivan & Co. tank tops. Still plenty hot in the northern part of the US here, so I guarantee it's still hot where you guys are. Ditch the sleeves. I'm gonna have them marked down for the next 10 days. So check those out. Check out everything else at sullivan-co.com. All of my hats are back in stock. Check out all the merch. It's the best way to support the channel. Thank you guys so much for those of you who have ordered. Now, let me show you how I got this thing looking like this. Well, I was just trying to work on my back deck project, which I'm just about wrapped up with, but it is unbearably hot back there. I think 130 degrees, almost died. So we're going in the garage, gonna take a little break, back on the cheap auction 2017 CTS-V. Bought this car from Copart through Cars Forbid, got an awesome deal on it. It was a theft recovery, not running. Interior was all torn apart, but the body seemed to be all there, so I took a chance on it. Took it home for just under $30,000, 40,000 original miles, replaced a bunch of modules that the thieves ripped out, put in some Recaro seats, cleaned up the interior, custom carbon steering wheel. We blacked out some trim, tinted the windows, blacked out the front end, custom emblems, some new carbon bits from Extreme Online Store, including the front splitter that the forklift at Copart broke, and then this hood vent here that had some sun damage and just overall fading. The car is pretty much where I want it. It's like my dream blacked out Gen 3 CTS-V. But you know we ain't done yet. Still got some more stuff to do. First things first, I'm thinking about ordering a set of custom wheels for this car. I'm not gonna tell you guys what they are yet or what I'm thinking yet, but I do wanna pull the factory ones off and confirm the specifications on them. It should be on the back side of the wheel. You can probably find it on the internet, but I just wanna like take a picture of it and make sure. And I also got a new wheel measurement tool here that I really wanna try. So we're gonna do that. And also all of my cheap $14 eBay blacked out V emblems fell off the car. Like the first day the car was in the sun, I found this laying in the driveway next to the car. So I think the problem is the cheap adhesive they use. So I think I'm gonna take all of them and put a nice 3M double-sided tape on them. I already did this one on this side, and then hopefully that issue will be resolved. So let's take the wheels off, or at least two of them, measure them, replace these badges. Then we're going to finish completely perfecting this thing and see what direction we want to head with this car. You want to do it? Yeah, just grind it right into the paint. That's right. Can I have that back? Thank you. Well, AI confirmed what we probably already knew. Wheel specs, 19 by 10 in the rear, 19 by 9.5 in the front. We've got our offsets there. Also confirmed by the stamping on the rear wheel. So I don't know, I'm probably not even gonna pull front ones off at this point. But also wanted to show you guys this new wheel measurement tool I just got from Ramstead Manufacturing. I've used a metal wheel measurement tool in the past. I used one on the Camaro, and like, you basically needed to use a tape measure to get any measurements. This one is super cool in that all of the measurements are basically printed on the tool itself. Right now I have it set up in the factory wheel configuration, which is 19 by 10. Wheel diameter is shown up top right there. And then super cool on the side, plus 39 millimeters offset. So this is the factory wheel specification right here. I actually really like the fitment of the factory wheels. If you guys have had a C6 Z06, for example, or like any of the 99 to 04 Mustangs like I've had on the channel, the rear wheels are always like way tucked in. You need to space them out or get custom wheels or whatever. This is a factory wheel with a factory tire, and it is like perfectly flush with the fender. So shout out to GM for putting a proper fitting set of wheels on the V3s. So I don't think I'm going to make any adjustments to offset or size or anything really. What I probably am going to do is maybe mess with the diameter a little bit. But either way, this is going to be an awesome tool in my arsenal here to, for future builds, measuring for custom wheels. If you guys are looking for the best wheel measurement tool, definitely check this one out. Super happy with it so far. Now, let's move on with perfecting this thing. Guys, how do I fix my slice? This graphite shaft, wet noodle, Mizuno driver is probably not helping, but oh yeah, this is a car video. Out here bright and early working on the CTS-V, and we're focusing on cosmetics in this video. First things first, this car is immaculate for being an auction car. It desperately needs a paint correction, which we will get into, but for being a car that sat at the auction and that was stolen and in possession of the thieves for like 2 or 3 months, according to the Carfax, there is but one single dent on the whole thing, and it is a tiny one right here on the deck lid. So before we do a paint correction, my buddy Scott from Seacoast Dent Repair is going to come over and knock that out. But while we're back here, another thing that has always bothered me about this car is another failure of the carbon fiber. Not only on the inside of the car, which we've already kind of taken care of, but on the outside. You guys know the front spoiler was destroyed by the forklift, so I replaced it with the Extreme online store one. The rear spoiler structurally is in good shape, but it's got this it's like a clear coat failure. Not only does it look just a little bit yellow, but at the very tip here, probably where the clear is thin, it's just, it's like faded and chipped and cracked. So I wanted to replace this. We could probably sand this down and maybe re-clear coat it. It might look all right. But of course, Extreme Online Store has got all of the carbon fiber parts for your Gen 3 Cadillac CTS-V. So I got their Gen 3 CTS-V carbon fiber spoiler. This is basically an exact replica of the original carbon fiber that came on this car, because this was a car that came with that $7,000 or whatever it was carbon fiber package. So we're going to swap this thing on so that all of the carbon on the car will be perfect. Well, almost perfect. We'll talk about the rear diffuser here in a little bit later. But I think we got to swap the rear brake light over, and then it was just a couple 10 mils, and this thing snaps on. So let's get that swapped over. Wait for Scott to show up. We'll knock out that dent. I already pulled down the trunk liner for him. It's right back here, so hopefully we can get to it. We'll keep plugging away at this thing until it is absolutely perfect. Soap? Soap? You want help? You want to help mommy? Graham, right here. Do the wheels. Good job. All right, few days later, been working on my jet boat and building that twin turbo LS, if you guys saw that video. But we're ready to get back in the CTS-V. The other day we got the Extreme online store carbon fiber spoiler installed. The fitment is just like factory. It's got that beautiful factory-like carbon fiber weave and none of the sun pitting or fading that the original spoiler had. So really happy with that. Install was super easy. While I had the trunk liner down, I had my buddy Scott from Seacoast Dent Repair. This lighting right now is atrocious for trying to show paint defects, but you guys saw in the B-roll the dent that was right here, completely gone. And he even was taking a look around the car, and this is like the only chip on the entire car, which also had a small dent behind it. He went in through the window here and was able to get that one out. So there's now not a single dent on this entire car, and that paint chip is basically the only paint flaw, which is really impressive for a car that sat at the auction. So unlike the Mercedes, which was broken for 2 years and I didn't do the paint correction till basically right before I sold it, I want the paint on this thing to be perfect, which means yes, we're going to be doing a full paint correction. And like I said, the lighting right now is really horrendous for trying to show you guys the defects. But we'll be able to see it once we are inside. There's plenty of swirls, scratches, leftover residue from the auction tape. We definitely have our work cut out for us on this one. But every good paint correction starts with a heavy decontamination wash and clay bar, so let's start with that. Looking at the condition of this paint, we're gonna have to pull out all the stops on this one. So I'm going right to my go-to wash products from Gyeon. We're gonna be foaming this thing down using the iron wheel cleaner, iron decontamination spray on the paint, and doing a full clay bar. Let's get after it. Man, just a quick wash and this thing already looks a ton better. Did a full decontamination wash and then clayed using Gyeon's clay bar and clay lube. So paint is nice and smooth now. But now that we're under some garage lights and not, overcast skies, we can see all of the defects that, we got our work cut out for us. This is like a lot of cars I do, it seems like not only are they all black, but it also always seems like they're very clean per se, like there's no major paint defects, but they always seem to find their way to me with just heavy swirls, scratches, oxidation. This one, of course, the worst of it is where, you know, these scratches were probably created by myself trying to get the auction tape off, because whatever Copart is using for adhesive is, you know, not even from this world. But lots of stuff there to get off. And then, you know, even before Copart, it's pretty clear that, you know, this thing had water spots and scratches, and just overall, you know, like a lot of cars out there, no big deal. It really needs a paint correction. Check out the fender there. Let me get it light, actually. Yeah, so we got some work to do for sure. But like I said, not a dent on this thing, and this chip right here, which I'm gonna touch up, is literally the only paint flaw I've found thus far. So I think I'm gonna touch up that. And then there's one spot on the carbon fiber diffuser here that I'd love to keep some of the original carbon fiber on this car. It almost just looks like the clear got worn off. I'm wondering if I can, but you can still see the carbon fiber weave. I'm wondering if I can dab some clear on there, a little wet sand, a little buff, and see if we can get it to look like 75 to 90% better. We'll see. Other than that, this thing is gonna be awesome when we're done. Mark my words, we're gonna use this fender as the before shot, but this thing is gonna be glass when I'm done with it. It's gonna take a lot of hours, a lot of buffing, a lot of up, down, side to side, like we're Easy-E, but we're gonna get it done. First things first, we gotta tape off all the trim. We don't want to get compound and stuff on, especially the stuff that I just wrapped. Give it a quick wipe, and then we are ready to do a test spot either on the trunk, or you guys know I like to do the hood as well, see what pad and combo, or what pad and compound combo is going to work to get this thing looking slick. All right, so as usual, I decided to start on the deck lid because this is where we had just really deep, heavy scratches, scuffs, swirls. I mean, basically just a hammered deck lid. There's some deep stuff in there. So anyways, here's our 50/50. Of course, the light is gonna make it look worse than it really is, but I think I found the recipe that we're gonna have to go with. I haven't buffed a newer GM, or newer, it's almost 10 years old at this point, but for example, the black paint on my C6 Corvette, really hard clear coat. I think GM paint has kind of a notoriously hard clear. Seems like this is no exception. Did a first pass with the Gyeon heavy cut pad and heavy cut compound. I'd say that got rid of 80% of the defects in here, but there was like some really deep scratches and some pitting that it didn't get out, which is to be expected with, you know, even the heaviest cut of foam pads. So I eventually decided to step up to a wool cutting pad, and that got rid of just about everything. So here's, you know, without the light on it, here's the 50/50. So now we can see the hazing that any cut pad is going to leave behind, especially a wool pad. So we've removed basically all of the defects, but now we're going to have to polish out the hazing. But I think we found a recipe that's going to get rid of most of our defects here. This is going to be a daily driver, and it is going to sit outside most of its life, at least under my ownership probably. So I'm not going to go chasing, you know, 100% perfection, but I am going to go see if I can get like 95% defect removal. I think on the vertical surfaces, or I should say the horizontal surfaces like the deck lid, the roof, and the hood, we're definitely going to have to use the wool pad. You guys saw in the B-roll footage, the hood is almost as hammered as the deck lid is, but I think on some of the vertical surfaces which don't have as bad of scratching, we might be able to get away with the foam pad, but it's possible we just do the whole car with the wool pad and then we'll come back with Gyeon, probably polish and probably the blue pad, but we'll have to see. Either way, car is all taped off. I think I've got my recipe. Unfortunately, the only thing left to do now is put my headphones on and just run a buffer for hours on end. I've done a lot of paint corrections, it seems, lately on the channel, but it's got to be done. So let's get to work on this thing, see if we can bring this paint back to its glory. Whew, what a bear this hood was. This took 3 separate passes, so a bunch of back and forth, side to side, clean the pad, reload it with compound, buff again, 3 iterations of that up here and down here, but I think I got the hood like 95% defect free. This paint on this hood is rock solid, or sock rollet as we like to say around here, but it was, you know, hammered. A case like this, I mean, you need all the cutting power you can get with a DA. We could have gone to the rotary, but that in itself usually creates an extra step. So just put in a little bit more work with the DA and we're looking good here. There's a couple little, you know, defects that are just, you know, issues with the clear coat. It's a 10-year-old car. I probably could, you know, wet sand and buff and make this whole thing perfect. But again, it's gonna be my daily. Let's just, you know, not have any scope creep here. We've already taken the hood probably way too far. It looks absolutely incredible. Probably too good for a daily, but we haven't even done the polishing stage yet. You guys already saw in the B-roll, but you know, this was just completely destroyed up here by the tape and rubbing with acetone. That's mint. The whole roof is done. I did the quarter panel, what do you call these? The A-pillar, B-pillar, I think actually. Mint. Deck lid is now mint. Just needs a polish to get rid of the hazing. So I just got to finish up the hood, and then I touched up some spots, did the wet sands. So, and then you guys also saw in the B-roll, I added clear to this defect in the spoiler, and then wet sanded a little bit and just added a little bit more clear earlier today. So it should be nice and flush, but in that area, it already looks 10 times better. So if I can blend this without, you know, sanding through any other clear, that would be awesome. Same thing over here, touched it up, sanded it, and then added some clear in. So hopefully I can wet sand and buff that a little bit more and make it look basically gonna disappear. Hopefully the rest of these panels don't require as much work as the vertical panels, but I think I'm still gonna just go with the wool pad the whole way. just not mess around with this tough GM clear. So I'm gonna put my headphones back on, get back to work. Hopefully the next time you see me, we have removed almost all of the defects on this beautiful CTS-V.
Lower.
Swirling it up.
Bloody nose and all.
Yeah, had a boo-boo this morning.
Graham, what car is this?
Daddy.
That's right.
All right, now we got to do the rear bumper. We're all done. Then we can move on to the polishing stage, which is easy. Yuck, mess. Can you wipe it? With your cloth. Wipe it with that. Good job. Shoo! That was a doozy. Many hours later, but we have got this thing 98% defect free. I said I wasn't gonna go crazy, but you guys saw the B-roll. I ended up doing a little bit of wet sanding, a little bit on that fender, passenger side fender where there was some deep scratches. You guys saw me correct the defect in the door here, which basically now you have to be right up on it to see. But, you know, lots of sanding, clear coat filling, but it basically disappears as you walk away. So big difference from the dent and huge paint chip that used to be there. But the rest of the car is basically perfect. Even got the rear diffuser here. That other defect, I'll show a little bit of a before right now. If you get right up on it, you can still see it. But again, if you back 5 feet away, pretty much disappears, which is nice. Other than that, this car is basically perfect, which is insane. So now we've removed all of the defects, but I guess right here is a good example. Can you guys see the little bit of haze? If you do a heavy cut, especially with a wool pad, it's going to remove all the defects, but in turn create a bunch more in, you know, buffer haze basically. So now we need to go through, do everything again, but now with a polishing pad and a polishing compound to remove that haze and bring out the final deep shine. So we're going to be using the Gyeon Polish Blue Pad and of course their polish compound. So lucky me, I get to do the exact same process on the car, just with a different pad and compound. So many more hours, but just part of the process, you know. Good news is the cutting process is usually a little bit more labor intensive. You got to press down harder. Sometimes the buffer wants to jump around a little bit more. Polishing stage is usually very light pressure, usually doesn't dust as much, and is the easier of the two correction phases. So let's knock that out and we'll get this thing ready for ceramic coating. You know, sometimes keeping track of all the parts, projects, and everything that I got going on around the channel can feel like a full-time job. But thanks to the sponsors of today's video, Monarch, my finances are a little bit easier. Monarch is an ad-free personal finance platform that brings all of your financials into one clean, easy-to-read dashboard. You've got your checking accounts, you've got your savings accounts, you've got your investment accounts, you've got your loans, mortgage, everything, all of that. Instead of logging into a whole bunch of different portals, Monarch brings it all into one, makes it super easy to see exactly where your money's going and where you're heading. Whether your goal is paying down your debt or maybe just increasing your net worth or saving for a project car, something like this. Not only does Monarch have all of your accounts in one spot, but it's going to give you AI-powered insights that are going to help you reach your goals. So you guys can use my code CS50 and get 50% off your first year of full financial clarity. Use the link in the description, give Monarch a try. You guys will be glad you did. Now, let's get back to the action. Hey there, me again. Once again, many hours later, but the CTS-V is looking absolutely incredible. But before we take a really close look at it, it's time to seal in that beautiful corrected paint with ceramic coating. Of course, we're going to be going with my new favorite, which is Gyeon's Mose system. This stuff is a breeze to apply. It's super hydrophobic and it's going to last for a very long time to make sure that this paint stays glossy and stays protected. Got an applicator pad, the ceramic coating itself, a couple stickers to let us know or let future people know what's on the paint. And then of course I like to level the ceramic coating with a couple of soft wipes. I'm gonna put my classic Sharpie mark on each one so I can keep track of which side is which and which cloth is which. Let me show you how easy it is. Application of Mose is super easy. Saturate the included applicator or an applicator of your choice, and then we're just going to go to our standard basket weave pattern. The pattern isn't super important, but making sure you have adequate coverage and making sure you cover your entire panel or working area is important. In my case right now, the garage is pretty warm because it's summer, so the product is going to flash pretty much immediately. So I'm not going to wait any time before I immediately start to buff it off or level it. I'm gonna grab my first towel face down, which is the side with the Sharpie. We're gonna remove 95% of the product. And we're gonna flip it over, go out a little bit farther past the areas that I did the application and get the other 4%. And we're gonna grab our second towel and a light to make sure that we got all of the product off, because once this stuff dries or cures, if you missed anything, you're gonna need to polish it off. So we wanna make sure we get all of it with the second towel. Use the light to make sure you don't miss anything. That's it, easy as that. Now let's do the rest of the car. Is it possible to make your daily driver too nice? Because I might have done it. Check it out. You know, a quick sun check after a paint correction never lies, and we didn't do half bad. Shoo! Look at this thing. Man, I'm stoked. Came out so good. Paint is absolute glass. Oh yeah, did we talk about my plate yet? Got my vanity plate in. I wine, baby. Used to have this plate back on my 2004 Mustang Cobra. It's torch red, and it still had the Eaton supercharger. That thing whined like crazy. This one, not so much, but I noticed the plate was available again. Had to have it. Really does fit true still to the LT4, but we might need to make the supercharger a little bit louder. This thing is no slouch for being 100% stock. Woo! What a ripper. Held on in second gear too. See if it'll do it again. Yeah. Not too shabby. No, I got one Michelin and one Continental back there. If you guys remember from the first video when the forklift put a hole through one of my tires, I temporarily put just a Continental that I found back there, but it's pretty hot out. They're grippy. Woo! First gear, not so much. You know, I was gonna hoon on it a little bit more, but I just realized I'm almost out of gas. That's what happens when you don't drive this thing for just about a week while I kind of picked away between other projects on this paint correction. It is basically done, 100%. It is perfect mechanically, perfect cosmetically. So what do I have into my 2017 CTS-V? 45,000 miles. Did a quick search around today and found that most clean title 2016 to 2019, so Gen 3 Cadillac CTS-Vs with this mileage, so under 50,000, are usually between 60 and 70,000 depending on condition and miles and everything. So we'll call it 65. This car, of course, unfortunately will have a rebuild title, or does have a rebuild title. I currently have it in my possession because the insurance company wrote it off as basically not wanting to fix it. So take that $65,000 to $70,000 figure that I just told you, cut that in half. That's about what I have into this immaculate car right now. So I'm psyched. Let's figure out how we got there. All right, lightning round. You guys have seen me do this a bunch of times on a bunch of builds, some a lot bigger than this one, but it's always good to know what I've got into a project once it's done. I say done because, like I said, I think we're gonna mod this one a little bit. But I thought it'd be fun to know what I got into this thing to get it back to OEM or better spec. OEM plus, per se. Shirts on the website. Okay, let's open up the trusty spreadsheet that I've kept for years and years. Let's go to our 2026 tab and the 2017 CTS-V. After fees, I bought this thing for $31,769. I had it shipped here because I didn't have time to go get it. It was $1,375. When it got here, it did not come with a set of keys because it was a theft vehicle. So the keys for this thing were $89 for the first fob and then $94 for the second fob. I had to have the Cadillac logo on one of them, so I paid a little more for the OEM Cadillac fob. Of course, it sat at the auction yard for 6 months or whatever, so the battery was completely dead. Got a new AC Delco AGM battery for $180. The thieves ripped the glove box out trying to get to some module, so I got a new glove box on eBay for $55. They cut up the passenger side carpet, probably also looking for modules, so I had to get a new one of those. New GM part, $77. The navigation module and the shark fin on the rear there, those were $140. The carbon interior trim is a really common issue on these V3s. They kind of delaminate, they just kind of start looking like crap, so I didn't go full on $1,000 new carbon, but I found these basically 3D stick-on carbon look-alike decals, we'll call them. Really cleaned up the interior for about 1/10 of the cost. Those were 80 bucks. And right here is the biggest expense on this car so far, and I really didn't have to do it. It was 100% optional. But for me, I had to have it on this car, and that was the OEM V3 Recaros. Got an awesome deal on those at, I think it was 1,000 bucks. And then to get them here through paying a couple of friends, total was 1,600. That OBD2 tool, the OBD Genie, that I used to unlock the theft lock issue after I got the new navigation module, that was 130. These blacked out emblems that have already fallen off once, those were 44. The rear door trim piece, that was that, right in the door sill there. It had peeled up. I had to replace that with a new GM part. That was pretty reasonable at $38 on eBay. Another big expense, the window trim on the V3s is very common for it to delaminate. Mine was all delaminated and was even worse after I peeled the auction tape off. So I got some new GM stuff for $551. Then the actual Q module itself, so the infotainment display, and then the window switch that I bought because the switches were all peeled up, $252 for those two. The carbon steering wheel that I got from Alibaba, designed to my specifications, was $390 shipped here to my door. And then of course the Chris Sullivan, aka Ray Charles tint package, $525. But then as always guys, I like to try and recoup as much money as I can, so I sold the stock seats, the original stock seats in mint condition for $500. Even though the Q module that I took out was broken, I sold that on eBay as a core for $130. And the original hood vent that had some clear coat issues, I sold that on eBay for 200 bucks pretty quick. So our grand total investment here is $4,990. If you add that to our original price, our original purchase price of $31,769, we get a grand total of $36,759. Boom. So there you have it. Call it $37,000 for this 45,000 mile 2017 Cadillac CTS-V. Bone stock. It is basically perfect on the exterior, interior, mechanically. If I didn't tell you, you'd probably never know that it had a rebuilt title. That's, I guess, the benefit of a theft recovery. All of the paint, other than the stuff that I blacked out, is original. I haven't seen any evidence of fender bolts that have been removed, or the Carfax is clean other than when it was stolen. So, very clean history car other than, the theft itself. So yes, it will forever have a salvage title unless a future owner does some sketchy stuff with like title washing, but Carfax is, really gonna tell the story. But I'm really happy with call it $37,000 into this thing. Like I said, their clean title, this would be 65 to 70 depending on where you are. It's got the carbon package, it has the panoramic roof or sky view or whatever Cadillac calls it. It's got the Recaros. It's basically as loaded as you can get. Luxury package, it's got everything. So really, really nice spec. It's exactly what I wanted in a V3, and that's why I don't think I'm gonna be selling it, because I'm gonna keep this as my daily driver. Question I have for you guys is, what should I do for mods? I wanna do long tubes, I wanna do an intake, I wanna do a pulley. I have kind of toyed with the idea of doing a cam, but I think on these V3s or LT4s in general, it's basically a motor out job, which is like, do I really want to do that, or do we keep it simple with some bolt-ons, a tune, keep it about 700, 750 horsepower, and that should be plenty for a daily driver. So I'll probably have to do some cooling mods, heat exchangers. Let me know, you V3 guys especially, let me know what you think I should do for a bolt-on, awesome daily driver, reliable combo, and we'll probably do it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the CTS-V 3 series. I'm loving this car. The videos have done pretty well, so I think you guys are liking it. But if you haven't already, give the video a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. I'll catch you guys in the next one. This thing came out sick.